Hello everybody and welcome back to Star Trek Online. So, as I did in the last video, I was talking about how you can make a character that is solely for the purpose of getting the bonus dilithium for hitting tier 5 in all 13 of the reputation systems. All 13 factions there. Hitting tier 10 in all of the admiralties. And how much dilithium you're guaranteed to get, which if I remember correctly was well over 600,000 dilithium ore, which is that top number right there. Only I don't have that much on this tune because it's my main, and well, I already hit tier 6 and everything on this tune, so yeah, don't really need the marks on this one except for doing the hourlies because they now reward me with the daily amount, but I can do it every hour. Useful in and of itself, no? So, I'm coming to you today from the bridge of the USS Intoxicated Leprechaun, which is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the class name of this ship properly, but it's the Fate class, I believe. It's spelled F-A-E-H-T, which I think, if you say it properly, it's like saying the word fate, but it's pronounced. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, part 2. In part 1, I explained what it is and what it does. What it is a disposable character that once it has achieved all the bonus dilithium it can from the various systems and gets to the point where all you're doing is logging in, doing your dailies and refining, once all this ends up down here, that 600k ore guaranteed from the bonuses and repetitive dailies, combined with the variable amount that you get from doing task force operations, patrols, or whatever you do that gains marks and dilithium. Well, let's just say it'll be a very, very thick layer of icing on an already very thick, with 2 C's, cake. So, part 2, the logistics of this whole operation. How do you make this work? It's actually very simple. The hardest part is going to be getting these, the energy credits, because they are a requirement in order to do these daily assignments. Expertise is probably secondarily difficult, but that's only because you don't gain that much from TFOs. In fact, the #1 source of expertise is going to be from doing admiralty assignments, of all things, because you get a lot from those. In fact, I'm going to show you. I don't get to receive the massive daily bonus from these anymore on this character because he's already got tier 10 on everything. But look at this one, for instance. 562 takes 15 minutes. This one gives 3,450. That is enough to do 3 hourlies, I think. But oh wait, there's one that's not at tier 6 yet. This one takes 2,000 expertise and 15,000 energy credits. So let's look to the Admiralty system and see how we would fill that requirement. Let's see, what was it? Oh, 2,000. Okay, this assignment here takes 2 hours. And yeah, that right there, just that one will be enough to do this one assignment. Now, of course, this is not going to be your end-all because of the simple fact that when you start this out, these top 3 slots here, these other ones open up as reps reach tier 5, tier 10, and so on and so forth. And then this last slot is if you have a character that was made when the Gamma Recruit event is active, which that was about a year ago, if not longer. If you have tier 10 and 3 of those reps, then you get a 9th slot. And alts will get that slot for free, being able to start off with 4. if your Jim Hadar that you made back during that time has tier 10 and 3 of these Admiralties. Mine does not, but that's neither here nor there. Now, another thing too is these assignments, particularly the ones for the Klingon Empire and secondarily the ones for the Ferengi, give energy credits. I think that one that I'm mousing over says 24,000. Dailies take 15, so the Admiralty system will probably supply you with about 60% of the energy credits you'll need. The rest you'll have to get from doing that. Oh, 7,467. Okay, so that's going to be basically how you're going to get your energy credits, but to start with, at the very beginning, you're probably going to want to transfer some energy credits from one of your main characters to your disposable farmer just to get them started. Eventually, the whole process will become self-sustaining, but I recommend transferring 500,000 energy credits from your other tunes to a disposable farmer. Eventually, like I said, the whole process will become self-sustaining, and the first farmer will be able to get the second one started. Okay, so that covers the logistical part of it in terms of having the energy credits and expertise in order to actually get these assignments going. The secondary source of expertise is going to be from killing things in TFOs, though if you want to actually slow down your mark gaining speed, you can do patrols in the PvE menu. The first one done in a 24-hour period, which is the time during which you can get that 500 dilithium ore bonus and get 1,000 for the first one. The first one will reward 30 marks, but if your character's already at max level, these two values basically become one and the same, I think. Oh no, wait, ever since they introduced the specialization thing, they stay separate. So, okay, yeah, that won't work that way. Expertise is what's used to train your bridge officers in new skills and rank them up. These patrols reward almost 2,000 with each individual run. Not to mention the expertise that you gain for killing the enemies therein generally tends to be higher than what you would earn during a TFO, as there is no expertise reward for completing a TFO. You only gain expertise and experience for the kills that you make and kills made by teammates, though kills made by teammates who fire the killing shot don't reward that much. So what would be a good third source to make up for this would be using the duty officer system, although again that's going to be a very, very slow trickle, but it's better than nothing, and you get more dilithium to fill in the icing on that dilithium cake. Now, if I recall, I showed you guys on the last video, and I'm going to do it now just to show you just in case, but I think I showed you how much Zen you would be able to buy if you actually did this long enough to get one of your main characters to a total of 10 million dilithium. So let's say the exchange rate was 408 at the time you go to trade in all your dilithium, and you have 10 million. Whoops. Is that 10 million? No, that was 1 million. Let me just add an extra zero. Of course, you can't trade in that much at once. You can only buy up to $50 worth of Zen at a time, but doing it this way, you would get $245, which would be 4 times doing 5,000, which would be 2,040,000 dilithium. So that 4 times over, plus highlight, damn you, plus 1 time doing 4,500, and that's where it comes out to being 9,999,672. But yeah, $245.09 worth of Zen. Now, of course, are the devs going to care if you buy this much at once? No, the Zen's already been paid for. It's just that you're giving dilithium to the people who bought the Zen and wanted to trade it for dilithium in the first place. So yeah, the devs are not going to really care. The idea is that Zen is going to get used to buy ships. They just don't. The thing is that they don't really care who buys ships with the Zen. It's just the fact that, you know, the Zen's paid for already. It's just that the original purchaser wanted to buy purple crystals. So there you go. So yeah, energy credits and expertise. Those are two of the biggest things. And the next biggest thing is that, first off, you're not going to want your character that you're using for this to look like one of the power leveler dilithium farmers that are out there who farm dilithium to buy Zen and then they sell the Zen for real money to make a profit themselves. You don't want to come off looking like one of those characters, or one of those people, I should say. So what you'll want to do there is don't name your character Disposable Dilithium Farmer, because that's just a dead giveaway. What you'll want to do is just use a random character name from the system, or come up with one yourself. And usually with making a Jim Hadar character, that's actually pretty easy. If anything, you can give them the name of one of the Jim Hadar from the show. Secondly, you'll want their ship to not be a hindrance to the rest of the team if you're going to be going the task force route, since that is the one that generates marks the fastest. To that end, the best thing that I can tell you to do is, since in the last video I explained that you're going to want to be only working on one character at a time, doing these TFOs to build up their mark supply. Simply because you may not have the time required of doing this on two characters. So, basically, this is where I'm basically referring to this screen and this screen here. You're going to want them to be built up as best as possible. This is my energy torpedo boat that I've been promising that I'm going to do a whole entire video on. A whole entire video about the intoxicated leprechaun. But basically, what I'm getting at is you don't want your disposable noob character to look like a disposable noob character. You're going to want them to be as powerful as your mains. So to that end, what you do is you have to make them a new build. And what you're going to also want to do is this build is going to have to be account level transferable. What that means is once that character is done doing the hard work of actually grinding for all these marks, what you're going to want to do is once that character gets to the point that all you're doing is logging in, hitting refine, and logging out, or logging in, hitting refine, getting dilithium from the reputation and admiralty stuff, and then logging out, and they're not playing TFOs anymore, you want to be able to take that build, throw it in your account bank, and throw it on Disposable Dilithium Farmer number 2. So that they can have the benefit of having that same build when they go to do theirs. Now, sadly, an energy torpedo boat on a Fate class Intel Warbird is not going to work for this, because these items are bound to character. Not to mention these are reputation torpedoes, which are also bound to character. This one's from an event, so it's bound to character. This one's from an episode, bound to character. That one's from an episode, and then this one I got off the Phoenix store because I wasn't active in the game at the time when this was an event weapon. So, basically what that means is, if you're going to be using a Gem Hadar, Polaron weapons are going to be your best bet. So you'll want to make... So you're going to want to make an omnidirectional Polaron beam array. I'm a ways off from actually doing this myself because I want to get my 10 other alts, literally 10 other characters, to tier 5 on all their reputations before I make a disposable dilithium farmer myself, because I still have dilithium bonuses to collect on them. But when you get to this point, you're going to want at least one omnidirectional Polaron beam array. And also, just as a side note, if you have it already, I found that one of the best ships to use is, I've heard good things about this one, the Vanguard Carrier, but I presently myself have this one. It's a pretty good ship. It's there. Okay, yeah, its specs are in this description. A lot of these, for some reason, don't have this. I have no idea why. Now, this is a command ship. So, it's got 4 forward weapons and 4 aft. Excuse me. So 4 forward, 4 aft. So this is a really good one to use. But also, again, there's the fact that Jim Hadar characters can use any and all ships of the faction to which they are allied, and they can also use Romulan vessels too. So really, decide what vessel you're going to want your disposable characters to use as their flagship. And to keep it easy, try to consistently use that vessel throughout the entire process. Don't waste time trying to master multiple vessels, because the thing is that when you delete that character and make it again, you're going to have to do the mastery all over again. So it's kind of pointless. So, if you're going to, for me, when I do this with my Jim Hadars, I'm probably going to be using this ship. Just because it's a good, strong, solid, sturdy vessel. It comes with 2 wingmen, and it can also deploy 2 Jim Hadar gunships. So it has the ability to turn a 1-on-1 into a 5-on-1 in pretty short order. So for this ship, I'm probably going to use a Polaron weapon build. So again, make a Polaron beam array. Now, just so you know, this, if you don't buy this on the exchange, this is going to also require a significant dilithium investment. This particular weapon requires 3 isolinear optical chips, which cost 4,000 refined dilithium apiece. That is a day and a half worth of refining, my friends. And then this requires 500 apiece, and there's 4 of them, so another 2,000. So 14,000 dilithium, which is 3 full days and a partial 4th. So it'll take 4 days to refine the dilithium for that if you don't have it already. Next, I found that with the Jim Hadar Dreadnought, it's a good siege vessel if you rely on the wingmen. So I use a mix of beams and cannons. Turn that TV off. That was, if you guys noticed that flashing, that was a tack-like commercial. Anyway, so I use a mix of beam arrays and cannons. You're gonna want two beam arrays aft, 1 forward. A pair of, or 2 sets of cannons forward, heavy or light, your preference. Heavies do have that critical hit severity bonus. And then that leaves 2 slots for torpedoes, which, because of the Dreadnought's extremely slow turn rate, even with upgrade consoles, because of its slow turn rate, you're going to want to use photon torpedoes, simply because they have a really fast reload rate. Now, here's another tricky part of this whole operation. This is one of the drawbacks. You're going to want to use torpedo reload duty officers so that you can continuously fire torpedoes when you have your target within your forward or rear firing arc. But unfortunately, need some coffee or something. Unfortunately, once you assign them to active duty, they become bound to character. This is a downside, because if you want to use projectile weapons officers, they are going to be lost every time you delete a character. So what I would do if I were you is I wouldn't bother trying to get the top of the line best duty officers you could. I would take whatever I could get. But this does bring up another point I wanted to say as a side thing. When you do end up coming to that point where the character is ready to be deleted because you've refined all the dilithium they earned and transferred it to your main character, the duty officers will have one final service to perform for you, and that is you can trade them all down to common level duty officers and then donate them to your fleet's starbase. That'll give you some fleet credits that you can then use to do whatever with. Which, because anything purchased from a fleet starbase is going to be bound to the deleted character anyway, I would use all the fleet credits they get to buy more common level duty officers and transfer those, and then continue this whole process until your fleet credits run out. At least that way, the character can go out having probably put enough duty officers into the fleet projects to probably get a project going on probably half of the facilities you've got. So, yeah, this whole thing can benefit the fleet too. Just not with dilithium. Oh no, if I'm going to be farming that much dilithium, yeah, I'm going to be buying ships with it. Ships, character slots, duty officer roster expansions for my main characters. So yeah. Gotta stop doing videos this early, I swear to God. Alright, so we've covered how to get the energy credits you need to do the daily missions in the reputation system, getting expertise, which, like I said, the two systems kind of feed into each other in a way. Well, they don't feed into each other. The Admiralty system feeds into the reputation system. And then also event participation is another one. Now, let's see. Making sure your character's name is something that's not going to make your team rage quit the instant you appear. Because if you literally make yourself appear like you're just there to farm dilithium, they're going to assume you're part of the illegitimate side of this thing, where they take their dilithium and sell it to other players for real cash, and they will rage quit on you. I know, because I've rage quit on that before. I mean, I was doing a random TFO, and one of the people that was in the map with us, now it was the Hive one, but it was the ground mission. Anyway, each stage of the mission requires that all 5 players move from one area to the next because the door gets locked behind you by a force field. Anyway, this person their rank was cadet, so they hadn't even gone far enough to advance to the rank of lieutenant yet. They were still a level 1 cadet. They had no personal shield equipped, no weapon equipped. They just beamed in and stood there. The idea behind people that do that is that they're the ones who, they're just automatic click farmers. They get into a TFO and they just sit there, let the rest of the team do the work, and then they get the dilithium reward when they beam out. And those are the people that sell the dilithium for Zen, and then they sell the Zen to other players. You don't want to be associated with that group. You don't want people to think you're part of that group. So that's why you treat these characters as if they are your regular alts. And third, you want to make sure your character has, well, actually fourth. Third was the main thing. Fourth is you want your character to have a really good build for both their ship and their ground character. Now, luckily for me, the weapon thing is not that hard because, well, I did the event where these things were the reward. And in case you don't know, these weapons are those cyclic modulation compression weapons. Basically, your melee attack gets replaced with you change the weapon from phaser to disruptor to plasma to tetrion to polaron to anti-proton and back again. This is handy on those Borg TFOs because you have, it's like having 6 different energy weapons you can cycle through before you have to change your weapon frequency. So, yeah, they come in real handy for that. And if you want to spend the time doing it, you can also do the mission. Let's see here. Where is it? This one. Quark's Lucky 7. Because this mission...
My apologies for the quality of the transmission. I'm contacting you on an encrypted frequency.
Shield penetration.
I'm working on an important covert mission, and I could use your assistance. I can't go into the details over comms.
Believe me, I know. I use them on Defera all the time. In fact, the person who suggested that in this video I talk about how to get energy credits saw me using them on Defera. And, yeah. The Borg can literally not adapt to them because they have 100% shield penetration, and that includes their adaptation shields. So, yeah. 2 good weapons to have. And I have them on this character here. 164.3 DPS with 100% shield penetration. And this one, 160 DPS. Of course, I'm also in space, so these stats are base level. If I were on the ground, in a combat area, they would be their actual stats. Not to mention the blade fan, which is the alternate fire for Lex throwing knives, is you will throw knives at everything in front of you in your 90-degree arc. Sort of like when V on V for Vendetta, in that final battle against Creedy and his men, he took out it looked like he took out one knife, but then he like fanned it to the side, and there was 2, and then he threw them both and took out 2 guys at once. Kind of like that, but you can hit like 6 or 7 enemies with it. Take that, V. I better be careful if I say that. Hugo Weaving might show up at my house. Okay. So, there was energy credits, getting expertise, naming your character, making sure you got a good build. Oh, another thing too, and this might actually help a bit. You're going to need 625 marks precisely in each one of these categories here to get from tier 0 to tier 5, and also have the 5 extra marks per level to rank up. I would recommend that before you even start doing the dailies at all, that you wait until you have 625 in each of these. The reason being is that it will allow you to build up energy credits, and it will allow you to build up expertise. That way, you'll be able to make it a good ways into it before you have to start doing TFOs or missions all over again to get more energy credits or more expertise. Though for expertise, a really good bet would be to go ahead and do episodes.
The treacherous
because the first time you do
has
them,
requested to speak before the
reward
High
a
Council on
now,
Kronos.
I know that's going to be too small for
A
you to
little
see, so I'm
used
just going to
Klingon
get real
law
close
has
up into your
restored
face
her
here.
house temporarily. And as
14,611.
matriarch of her house, she has the
That is
right
enough
heed
to
the
do
call
7
of
dailies. And that's just for doing this one mission, though. In all honesty, these 2 missions take forever. Although, the second mission, part 2 of this, Kittimer Discord has a very, very interesting plot twist. But, whatever. Now, that's another thing about experience, or not experience, but expertise, which is the skill you use to train, you know, these guys. So, I think that covers just about everything. So we covered getting energy credits, You can get them from the Admiralty system, selling loot, or transferring them from a main or an alt. Expertise, that's something that's got to be earned on their own. The Admiralty system will provide a good amount. Episodes provide even more. And then patrols provide a little bit. And then the DOF system and doing TFOs, at least where expertise is concerned, is going to be a trickle. Name your character with some seriousness. Make your throwaway characters an awesome build. It adds credibility to your character's existence when they're dominating the battleground. And I believe that covers it. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, part 1 was, what is it? And how does it benefit you? In short version, it benefits you by being able to get your main character to 10 million refined dilithium in about 13 months' time. Give or take, depending on how long it takes the last character in rotation to refine it. So, that would mean that this video is the logistical side of it, how to go about it. So, all told, a character that you for doing this is probably going to be with you for about 120 to 150 days. That's about 4 or 5 months, because you'll get all the ore in a month and a half to 2, maybe 3.5 months. But how long is it going to take to refine it? I mean, you could easily earn 10 or 15,000 ore a day from doing the TFOs and the Admiralty system together, and you can only refine 8,000 of it a day, so you're going to be building up a backlog of ore, and then after at least 20 days, you're going to start getting those 32,500 dilithium ore bonuses from the reputation system. Those are going to start building up, and then getting the dilithium ore bonuses from the Admiralty system, those are going to build up. So it's going to take months to refine it all. But then that's why you make 2nd and 3rd and 4th dilithium farmer characters one after another in a staggered creation schedule, where you take that awesome build you made for the first one and you use the account bank to transfer it between your farmer characters, so that you're not having to make this build over and over and over again. And if anything, it would just get upgraded as time goes on. Because honestly, I don't think 40,000 dilithium is going to be all that easily missed out of a batch of 10 million. Except for the fact that 10 million might not end up being the final total, but then again, you have other characters to play on. That can help too. Oh, my hourlies are done. Again. So, keep all that in mind when you're thinking about doing this. And I myself will probably start doing this myself in about a couple of months, because like I said, I got 10 other characters besides the one I'm logged on now. I have 10 others and 7 empty slots that are going to be used for these farmer characters. So I still got a lot of work to do to get ready, and then I also got to make the build that the first dilithium farmer is going to use. So, yeah. So, pretty short compared to the last video. Well, not really. The last video was 45 minutes long. This one was 34, it looks like. So, I will see you guys next time. Next time, I will be going over the Intoxicated Leprechaun and how to make it an awesome energy torpedo boat by using said energy torpedoes to get around the fact that firewall cloaked ships cannot fire energy weapons while cloaked, by using torpedoes that are themselves energy weapons, and how to make this ship awesome at its job. So I will see you guys next time. Until then, see ya.